Hello everybody and welcome to ESO Weekly for September the 13th, 2013. I am Kyle and with me, as always, hello Sir Josh.
I am Sir Josh. Oh, a knighthood, thank you.
Yes, and you did nothing for it, but congratulations. This week, we will be covering the Ask Us Anything Variety Pack 7. They are really throwing these out there. They just had the 6th one like a couple weeks ago, didn't they?
Yeah, well, it's a bi-weekly thing, so probably,
Is it?
yeah.
Is it?
Probably 2 weeks ago they had one.
Oh, okay.
That would make sense.
I didn't know that stuff. Anyways, so they covered mostly PvP. I kind of was expecting them just to name it PvP Pack 12 or something.
Yeah, that's the grand majority of it.
But they did mention a few things like, you know, the Dwemer and the Shadowscales and the Guild Store.
Alright.
That's pretty much all the news coming out this week, but ESO will be at Eurogamer Expo in the UK, September 26th through the 29th. So for you British people out there, go hang out and play the game and let us know how it is.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff. Oh, and the TES Anthology came out this week.
Yeah, it's not part of the Elder Scrolls Online, but by God, it's Elder Scrolls and it's beautiful.
Yep. So let's get into it, starting with Ask Us Anything Variety Pack 7. So first things first, let's talk about Shadowscales and the fact that they are going to be in ESO, but you will only find them in Shadowfen within the Black Marsh. You will currently need to be a part of a guild to use the guild store. So this was confirmed that you can't just approach a guild and say, hey, can I peruse your wares through your guild store? No, you have to be actually a member of that guild in order to look at their stuff. And then also the guild leader can determine who's even allowed to use the guild store.
Yeah.
So
So you could be in the guild and not even have access to the
exactly.
store.
You can be like totally screwed.
Yeah. I'm sure this comes as a very unwelcome surprise to a lot of people because, and you know, I've always been an advocate against the guild store, but one of the legitimate and very good arguments for having the guild store, which left me thinking, okay, yeah, that would be cool, was this whole idea of having guild storefronts. So like in the marketplace, a guild can set up shop and sell items to anyone who comes along. So you could actually have guilds that specialize in certain areas, like the East Empire Trading Company could be some general store, or you could have a guild maybe called the Winking Skeever and only offer up food items, and it's a guild filled with provisioners. Or the Best Defense, it's a guild full of crafters and you can buy armors there and stuff like that. That was a very neat idea and something that, okay, maybe the Elder Scrolls Online wants to go in that direction. But no, we're not getting that either. It's totally going to where you are only restricted to those within your guild and only able to trade within there. So if you think, oh man, I'm going to start that guild and they're going to become known as the guild that trades in this, and I'm going to sell it to every corner of Cyrodiil, or of Tamriel. No, that's no longer a reality, at least not at the moment. They're saying that that's not a feature that they'll include. I think they seriously have to reconsider this because
Definitely.
At this moment in time, I'm really stepping back, and maybe you guys can point out the advantages, but I really don't see any benefits to having the guild stores.
So achievements, we know they're going to be in the game, and that hasn't changed. We will get them for completing quest chains and completing all the quests within a given zone. They're planning on having titles, but they haven't figured out exactly how to make them immersive and consistent within their game. So I guess it's not as easy as just slapping in a title in front of your name or something like that. They want to figure out somehow or some way to do it, but without like breaking immersion, I guess.
Yeah, I know exactly what they mean too, especially in a game where by default your nameplates are actually going to be disabled because they want to cut back on any needless UI, anything that takes you out of the game. And nameplates definitely are very MMO, and they're trying to step it back, making it more RPG that way. So not being able to readily see the title that way kind of like defeats the purpose of titles.
Yeah.
I will say I am somewhat of a fan of titles. I did like how they did it in Lord of the Rings Online. It would actually be part of your like lineage or where you hail from. For instance, my character was Radon of Rohan. You could choose your province and region and that sort of thing, which was very, very neat concept. As general achievements and stuff like that, I've always said I've never been a big fan of them, but
Me
I see that people are, and cool, they're in there for them. That's neat, I guess.
Let's see, alliances will always have access to Cyrodiil. I know there was some confusion. Someone even sent us a message before asking, it's like, well, if to, capture the Ruby Throne for your alliance, you have to own the keeps around it, then how will alliances be able to even get back into Cyrodiil? Don't confuse the keeps around the Ruby Throne, which is in the center of Cyrodiil, with the keeps that are on the outside edge of Cyrodiil. There's going to be safe zones, one for each alliance on the edge of Cyrodiil.
Yeah, they're headquarters.
So you'll always be able to get in through there. But your main keep is in the center of Cyrodiil near the Ruby Throne. And those are the keeps that need to be captured in order to gain access to the Ruby Throne and then crown an emperor.
They need to release, even if it's beta charts that are willing to change, like, they need to release some charts that really diagrams the areas and kind of shows like the layers and stuff, and like, okay, this is exactly how it works. I want Paul Sage up there with a laser pointer, like, showing us, because my mind, I still can't figure Cyrodiil out.
So there was a question about the emperor, and once someone is dethroned, their emperor status is taken away, what's keeping them from just like logging out and never going on that character again, and like they'll always be crowned emperor that way, right? Well, no. If another alliance comes in and takes over the imperial ship, or whatever you want to call it, emperorship, the next time the former emperor is killed, logs out, or switches zones, they will lose their emperor status.
I think this is very dangerous.
Why is that?
A very dangerous thing, because if you're telling me that this guy can hold his emperorship for as long as he's logged in, I'm seeing like a Korea StarCraft situation where the dude like dies at his keyboard because he's unwilling to log out because he doesn't want to lose his emperorship.
I'm sure if the guy's being a douche and is just running around Cyrodiil not letting anyone kill him, then ZeniMax will accidentally trip over a cord or something, and the servers go down for like a minute, and then he logs out. So I doubt there's anyone that's going to die at the keyboard because they don't want to lose their emperorship.
Some dev will pop up as Sheogorath and like turn him into a chicken or something.
Let's see, Mage Light. A little bit more about Mage Light. Someone was asking if it's like Candlelight where it kind of just floats above your head, or if it's like Mage Light where it sticks to something on the wall. It's actually going to act like an aura around the person. So I guess you yourself glow like a damn candle or something. And again, that'll reveal anyone that's sneaking around you, but also it'll buff your spellcasting.
Yeah. Buff your spellcasting, interesting. Now, I do like the idea of, though, a Mage Light as well. I wish whatever, skill line this falls under, it would be cool if you could morph it into something where you can actually shoot it. Because what if you're a mage on the back line, like shooting your spells and stuff, but the guys on the front line are having problems with rogue types and thieves that are sneaking around? It'd be cool to be able to sit at a safe distance.
Yeah, kind of make it like an AoE type revealing thing.
Yeah, that would be really neat. Like the flare in World of Warcraft. The hunter had a flare ability, which would be very cool.
Maybe it can morph into something.
And then
like
to take the Mage Light even further, I would still like it to be able to reveal places that are dark and have dynamic actual lighting.
That's asking a bit much there.
Oh gosh, I wish to God an MMO would have the balls to actually have dark caves.
I'll tell you, one that did was Guild Wars 2, even though it was unintentional. Do you remember that jumping puzzle?
Oh yeah, the glitch.
It was so dark you had to use AoE effects just to light up the room to tell where you're supposed to be jumping. Which
was cool. I thought that was neat.
I thought it was part of it.
Yeah.
But then we talked to the developer. We actually met one of the developers at that one signing. He was the one that designed that one, and he said that, that's glitch. It's not supposed to be that way.
Yeah, it was unintentional. But no, it totally worked. It was so neat because everyone had abilities that kind of lit up in some way.
Yeah.
Which, they need to bring the whole lighting thing to an MMO, like for real. And the Elder Scrolls Online should have been the one to do it, being an Elder Scrolls game.
True enough. There's going to be many quests and towns in Cyrodiil, which we've known that. But they're designed to send you into enemy territory.
Yes.
Which is going to be great, because that means lots of opportunities for people to gank people that are just
Sure,
trying to
man.
do quests around Cyrodiil, and all of a sudden some rogue type comes up from behind you and slits your throat.
And I know there's going to be people butthurt about it, but
Yeah.
you know what? Be butthurt, because listen, Cyrodiil is for the PvPers, man. That's their PvP, like, leveling experience. It acts as the PvP server. If you want to quest without, you know, they call it, the hardcore PvPers call it the Care Bears, who just, nothing but PvE leveling. That's what they do. They don't want to be ganked. You know, that's what the rest of Tamriel is for.
Yep.
Cyrodiil is home to the PvPers and will be forevermore.
Yeah, but they say if you are looking for more of these smaller scale battles, not so much the huge keep sieging type battles, if you like the small ones, then yeah, go around some of the major cities, because that's where you're going to find the people that are actually questing within Cyrodiil.
Yeah, which I would love. I would love to get together with a group of friends and just do that smaller scale stuff. The big scale has always overwhelmed me. It's kind of like the massive Zerg.
You kind of
type
don't feel like you're
battles.
doing anything, really.
Yeah,
You're
I
just
you're,
AoEing.
you're cannon
basically.
fodder. You're the
Yeah,
pawns getting thrown at the walls until they fall, you know?
Exactly.
I would like the smaller scale PvP. That's what I'm going to be engaged in more times than not.
All right. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about balancing within Cyrodiil. The question came up about what if someone was just devastating Cyrodiil? They were owning like everything. And
Like
just,
one faction.
Yeah, that one faction just has an amazing amount of points. How is another faction going to be able to like keep up with them at that point? Well, they're going to be having scoring incentives, which basically just buffs up the amount of points your alliance receives when they capture a keep, finally. So that just kind of is a way to tip the scale a little bit more in the favor of the underdog to allow them to at least have a chance of catching up to the other alliances.
Yeah, so what I understand is, and from what the way they worded this answer, is that it's going to be more beneficial to attack the keeps of the faction that is doing the best. So the winning alliance should be the alliance that you're going to want to attack because you're going to get more benefits from it.
Right.
And I think this was a much needed sort of balancing thing needed in Cyrodiil, because they came back with the whole answer, oh, well, in the Ebonheart Pact, it seems like the most are going there, so I'm going to use them as the example. If the Ebonheart Pact is absolutely poning, they've got the most people. Okay, ZeniMax stepped back and said, well, that's why we have the 3-faction system. We have the Daggerfall and the Aldmeri Dominion, who could kind of temporarily team up against the Ebonheart Pact. And I liked that idea in theory, but we had no real incentive up to this point to why the Daggerfall should be teaming up with the Aldmeri Dominion to take on the Ebonheart Pact. And now you have actual bonuses, you know, real incentive that gives people a reason to combine forces cross-faction. And yeah, that was definitely a smart move, no doubt about it.
Yeah, until the job's done, and then we'll kill Daggerfall, because they'll have like 5 people.
I'm sorry, Daggerfall.
Just saying.
But just know, you are going to be... I know you guys have serious faction pride, but you are going to be the smallest faction. Just know it. Which, hey, underdog. People like an underdog.
Yeah. Confirmed. We're going to find out what happened to the Dwemer. Just kidding. We're not going to find out what happened to the Dwemer. But they are going to have more information about the Dwemer.
You know,
and ESO.
some Elder Scrolls fanboys just wet their pants.
His ear just went, huh?
They're cleaning themselves up right now because you did that to them.
We don't know if they're going to mention what actually happened to the Dwemer, but there will be more information about them in ESO. So
Yeah.
that'll be nice to read up on, and more speculation on what the hell just happened to them.
Oh, Elder Scrolls, you're such a tease.
Okay, so how do we actually capture a keep? Or pretty much
I've been wondering this
any
myself.
resource in Cyrodiil. Each keep is going to have 2 capture points within it. They're going to be marked with like a banner or a flag. To actually take a keep from another alliance, your alliance has to hold both of those capture points at the same time. The same thing goes with the resources outside the keeps, like the
Like lumber mill, blacksmith, or...
the cave mining system thing,
right,
and
mine.
farms, I guess, are the 3. Each of those will have their own capture point within it. So again, you just have to capture that point, however long it takes, and then it is yours.
Yeah. Again, another good balancing idea, I think, to split the capture points into 2 points throughout the keep. Because what that helps to battle is this whole idea of turtling, where you have just everyone on that alliance is just piled up on the flag or whatever, or the capture point, and refusing to move. To have 2 points is at least help split that up a bit.
Yeah. And they also said that it's not necessary to kill all of the NPCs, because there will be, I guess depending on which alliance you're on, the keep will have its own NPCs within it that will help fight alongside whoever owns that keep. But you don't have to kill them all to actually capture the keep, though it'll obviously help because they don't have NPCs trying to kill you all the time while you're trying to capture those points.
Right.
But that's just one thing to, realize.
Those NPCs are the guards. Now I wonder if the guards apply to the same thing that like the walls apply to, where if you leave the NPCs and the wall's still standing when you take the keep, then you don't have to like build them back up again. You don't have to.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is a thing. I guess there will be that split second where they swear fealty to you, and then you don't kill them because they did that. So they bent a knee, and now they're fighting for you.
They bent the knee or be destroyed.
And that's why you want to capture the farms, because that makes the NPCs buffed up and strong and stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Another thing that they had mentioned that I hadn't heard before was the masonry and the woodworking kits, which we assume can be purchased with Alliance points. They didn't say how you can purchase them. Maybe with real money as well. That's an option, maybe. But they are used to repair the walls and the gates quicker. So if you did have to take down a wall or a gate or whatever to gain access to the keep and take it over, and you have to repair those things before the next alliance comes and seeks retribution or something, you need to build those things up quicker, use those kits.
I think this is smart, especially to maybe break up Zergs as well, because what you see when you're able to just take a keep and it's immediately built back up again, the group has no reason to really stay there, because the battle's over unless somebody's ready to attack at that very moment. The Zerg moves on. And to have this idea where, sure, the resources are going to build up the walls over time that you destroyed, but you could have the option to stay and help rebuild as well. I think that's a good concept. I just hope that they have real incentive for doing that. Like, you're rewarded for building your keep back up again.
I have a feeling that they'll actually pay more points for staying there and repairing it than actually taking over the keep. Now, I say that because in the interview with Maria Alaprando that we had covered, that was last week, right?
Yes.
She had mentioned that you actually won't get a lot of points for taking keeps, and that's to kind of to keep alliances from actually working together and just switching keeps back and forth with one another.
Yes.
Which is exactly, which is a possibility of happening. So they're kind of limiting the actual points you receive from actually taking keeps over.
That's great, and something so refreshing to see in PvP, because most of the MMOs I've played, and most of the multiplayer games I've played, is always going to reward the attacker more than the defender. At least points-wise, that's always been the case. And I've always been the type of person that likes to choose a point to defend, a vantage point, and that's where we make our stand.
We've both been the defensive types.
Yeah, I like to turtle. That's my thing. But and it's cool to see that more rewarded in this game.
True enough. And now, of course, I think every one of these we have to talk about stealth because everyone's so interested in it.
Yep.
What the hell can a stealth person do when it comes to taking keeps? I mean, one hit and they are out in the open and they've lost their sneaking.
Right.
They're sneaky.
What's the tactical advantage?
What the hell can they do to help their alliance? Well, one of the things that they'll excel at is taking out the siege weapons, and more so the operators of those siege weapons within keeps, because apparently keeps are going to have like catapults and trebuchets or something within them that will help them defend the keep, but they need operators to work.
Yeah.
So the stealthy player can sneak into the keep somehow, we don't know how, and they will then be able to take out those operators.
That's great.
And then light those weapons on fire, destroying them so they can't be used again.
Yeah, stealth needs to be highly rewarded and very tactical in its own way. What you need to see is a style of gameplay that's rewarded and its own unique and self-contained experience. You know, that whole element of sneaking behind enemy lines is very, very cool. And oh man, just reading about it, yeah, is exciting, and it makes me want to do stealth all the more, you know. So
yep, my Nightblade's itching. He wants to start sneaky.
Oh man, I see everyone in this game going the stealth approach.
I don't know. I guess it depends on how much points they're willing to put into stamina to do it.
Yeah.
All right, and that is pretty much it for the news of the week. Still no developer question of the week yet. So what would you like to do? Make up your own question of the week?
For the question of the week, yeah, I don't know. I would like something that applies to the actual things that have been announced in the Elder Scrolls Online now. Maybe something that we would like. I don't want to do something we would like to change because I almost know our answer.
Auction house.
How about, okay, we've done this before, but it's been a while since we've done it. Something we would like to add to the game. Last time I had said a crime system, so I have to come up with something different. What did you say last time?
Allowing armor mods and weapon mods and
I think that might have been it, yeah. So something else, something other than that. You have to come up with a new answer.
Actually, I'm going to steal one that I liked what Ivarwin had said on the last Elder Scrolls Off the Record. He had mentioned having some kind of app, kind of like how World of Warcraft has their, arena thing or armory thing. They have an app for the game. So I would like to actually have an app for an iPhone or Android or whatever that will allow us to see our guild store purchases or whatever we have on the guild store, see if stuff was purchased, I should say. Maybe even be able to communicate with people in the game while I'm out and about. I could still maybe talk to people, or if someone had PM'd me from in-game, I could answer their PMs or something like that. That'd be pretty cool.
Keep you connected, keep you plugged in.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that's something developers love. You know, the more you're thinking about their game and getting back to it, the better. Yeah,
because what if they have like world bosses or something in the game, but you do have to go out and do stuff, but you can hurry back home whenever you need to. You have someone in there, it's like, hey, the world boss just spawned, hurry up and get back. It's like, oh crap. So then you drop shit and then you run and you log on. So that's what I want.
All right, so now my wish list, if I could just magically make something appear in the Elder Scrolls Online, it would be the whole idea and something that really, this harkens back to the first time I ever played an Elder Scrolls game, which was Oblivion for me. I thought it was incredible that you could kill somebody and actually, whatever they were wearing, you could take that exact armor set they're wearing and give it to yourself. Now, I understand for balancing issues and stuff like that. I'm not talking about PvP and stuff. I'm talking strictly from a PvE questing sort of perspective. I always thought it was cool. If you can overcome an enemy that has badass armor, you could then take it for yourself. And if I could, I would do away with the whole generic MMO style of loot tables that the Elder Scrolls Online is implementing, where you kill humanoids and it's a dice roll and it's just random stuff. Like, they might be wearing a full-blown, like, this cool-looking assassin's outfit, but you can't take that outfit from them, no. You get a pair of socks instead. You know, it's lame. You can see this stuff, and it's always been kind of like of course, I could say immersion breaking for me, but I just thought it was always a very cool way to progress in a game. You slay an enemy, you get to take their shit and become them.
Just a minute, you like seeing them nude on the ground after you kill the foe.
Oh, totally, and I love playing with them.
Pick them up and put them in fires and stuff. I put baskets on their heads.
But that's my thing. Yeah, I guess we'd ask that question to you guys. What would be your one thing? And if you listened to our last video and answered your own thing, it has to be something different. What would be your system that you would integrate into the Elder Scrolls Online that hasn't been announced? And remember, development time, that stuff, nothing goes into it. Just a snap of your fingers and this is in there. What would it be?
And don't say auction house.
Yeah.
Because that's an easy one. All right. That's it. Cool. Let's go into our community segment, shall we?
Sure.
Starting off with, I did want to mention that they do have that emote contest still going on, which I am a part of.
Yes, you submitted your video.
Yes, which I'm not playing in the background right now. I'm playing the Sweet Roll video.
Yes. We need to show that sweet roll thing because it was so funny. I think that is the winning emote so far. Is the slash sweet roll.
Cause where was he hiding it? He just pulled it out from behind him.
That was the best
And I
part
thought
of
it was
the video.
fake. It didn't look real until he started biting it.
Until
I'm
he
like, oh
started
my
biting into
god,
it.
I
And
want
that
it.
looked exactly like a sweet roll. And I was like, oh, I want one. I'm gonna open my own, like, and it's going to oppose Cinnabon. Because Cinnabon is like the modern day sweet roll. I'm gonna be like, no man, this is Elder Scrolls, we're selling sweet rolls. But that was the funniest part of his video, is that he virtually took it out of his asshole and started eating it. Because that's exactly how they do it in video games.
It appears out of nowhere.
It's conjured out of thin air, yeah. So
Hey, that's immersion breaking. All right, let's get into these questions. First one is from Kaylee, who I believe is from Australia.
Hi guys, so forgive my accent. A lot of Americans complain that Australians talk too fast, but I'll do my best and all that. So my question is about the Dark Brotherhood. From Morrowind we know that a sanctuary is in Mournhold, and from Oblivion we know that not only is there one in Shaden Hall, but Achiever also tells us there's more in Cyrodiil alone, which is also backed up by the fact that you can find Dark-Hand robes in Gasta, Alvalurani, and Arquin's houses, which are in Bruma, Leywyn, and I think it's Shorel, which, considering that Lucian Chance has a house outside of Shaden Hall, suggests that there are sanctuaries in those cities. Also, Cicero in Skyrim, he says that he escaped from a massacre of a sanctuary in Bruma, so that sort of backs up that theory. And with the other 2 sanctuaries in Skyrim, that's already 7, which is way more than 4 Dark Hand can oversee. So 4 speakers rather. So do you think in ESO that there's going to be more than one Black Hand to cover all of the Empire? Or do you think the speakers will handle more than one sanctuary? Or possibly they won't explain any of that and we'll only hear about the sanctuary we're working in. Love to hear your thoughts and keep up the good work.
We're talking about the Black Hand, which we know. Think of the thumb as the listener who gets the orders directly from the Night Mother, and then you have the 4 fingers who are the speakers, correct? Which
yes.
gets the orders from the listener, and then of course they have what are they? Silencers, which are like the fingernails. They are the deadly assassins.
The fingernails are the talons, if you will.
So, yeah, this was a thing that was brought up a lot in Oblivion, if you did the Dark Brotherhood thing. It seems that there was an entire Black Hand just for Cyrodiil. But what does that mean with the other provinces? Does every province have a Black Hand? Now we know Skyrim seemed to only have one, well, technically it had 2, but the other one was run down until you get to it in the quest line. But they were kind of in shambles anyways, with Astrid and not following the rules and everything, the tenets. So what does this mean, though, in ESO? We're going back 1,000 years. The Dark Brotherhood's all well and good right now, probably, right? I'm assuming. In the history, they're strong. So maybe we are going to be seeing a Black Hand within every province.
Okay, well, I know without a doubt you might see more speakers in every province, but there can ever only be one listener at a time. One listener that communes with the Night Mother. But as far as speakers, yes, there could definitely be, I think, more than 4 speakers. And I think we've seen that in past test games because of your perfect example right there, Oblivion. As far as, are we even going to see the Dark Brotherhood in the Elder Scrolls Online at launch? I think they said that was a post-launch thing. They didn't have plans with.
Yeah, we're talking later on, though. We're not talking at launch. We're just talking in general. Okay. ESO. Is there...
Okay, I just want to make that clear so nobody's thinking we're talking about...
How is one Black Hand going to govern all of Tamriel?
Yeah, right.
How does that work?
I could imagine... I would have to read up on this more, but I would imagine, there would be... Maybe there's 4 speakers to a province, or to an actual province. So you'd have 4 speakers operating within Cyrodiil, and then 4 speakers operating within each of the other provinces, like High Rock and Hammerfell. That's how I could see them going about that. But as far as listener, if they're keeping it lore friendly, there could ever only be one listener at a time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which I guess they would be in Cyrodiil, I assume.
I don't know where the Night Mother would be at this time, and I don't know
Isn't she
how
under
the
that statue?
Yeah, I don't know what their situation is at this period in time
That's
in
true.
the Elder Scrolls. I'd have to read into it more and do some research beforehand. But yeah, the Night Mother was in Bruma, under. Well, I don't want to.
I guess we'll find out, I guess, once the Dark Brotherhood is finally added to ESO, which is going to be great.
Yeah, I
Can't wait for that.
Still argue that should have been a feature at launch because Assassin's Guilds have been, ever since Morrowind, people have loved being a part of an Assassin's Guild.
True enough.
We needed that before Fighters Guild. Fighters Guild is the lamest of the guilds. Maybe they're just saving it so they can make it full-blown and awesome with a crime system, because they do need to be introduced along with a crime system.
Okay, moving on. Let's go
Next
to question from Lewis.
Hey, ShoddyCast. I was wondering for the thief section of Elder Scrolls Online. Me as a thief, I like breaking into people's homes, taking all their valuables, and selling them off. Will players be able to buy homes in Elder Scrolls Online and me as a thief be able to break into their homes and take all their valuables? And if so, if they catch me in their homes, will they automatically call the guards and the guards will take me away in chains? Or will the player try to kill me and take his valuables back that way?
Wow, well, you're going to be disappointed on all accounts. And you pretty much pointed out some of my biggest problems and some of the key features that are really missing from the Elder Scrolls Online, which is player homes and a crime system, both of which will not be in the game at launch. They promised, well, they haven't promised, but they mentioned a crime system for the future. But again, promises are promises. Developers say crap all the time. If it's not in the game at launch, there's no guarantee.
Because everyone's enjoying player homes in WoW right now, right? Oh, wait, no, they're not.
Now, player homes is something I always need to stress in an MMO, especially in an MMO RPG that wants to emphasize the RPG part of their MMO. Because what player homes does, and essentially makes you a part of that world, right? It makes you a permanent part and gives you actual, like a home within this second life that you're living out in this fantasy world. And without that home, you don't really have much of attachment to that world. The moment you log out, you no longer exist. Any impact you made, whatever you did, it doesn't matter, essentially, right? Without any sort of change in the world. And no player homes, at least not at launch.
And even then, they don't even have pickpocketing, so I seriously doubt that they're going to let you break into people's homes and then steal stuff. That's not the environment they want. They don't want players breaking into other players' homes. Now, that doesn't mean that through the Thieves Guild you may be on a quest that requires you to break into a home, but it won't be a player's home.
Yeah. Now, if your whole fantasy, and this is left up to your imagination and, your self-contained RP experience, you will be able to walk into NPC homes and snatch things off the shelves and take things directly off the table, open drawers and rob them. But just know there's no real consequences. You could do it right in front of the NPC and they're not going to care. It's going to be left up to your imagination and thinking, oh man, I'm such a bad person. I just robbed that house, So you will be able to take things off the tables and stuff like that. But
again, until they put in the crime system, though.
Until they put in the crime system, which who knows when that will happen.
Who knows? Hopefully within a few months at least, though. All right, so let's go into the next one from, Sterling Jennings again.
Hey ShoddyCast, it's Sterling Jennings. I've got a question for adventure zones, or raids. This is more of a matter of opinion for you guys than news, because there really isn't a lot of new information as of late. But do you guys feel that these events will allow choice by the players? I know that there's supposed to be large groups tackling a large zone that have missions and bosses like normal raids. But do you guys feel that these will be like free roam zones that allow the player to choose what path they go on to complete it? Or do you feel like it will be a sequence of events or bosses that will be very linear without change even after you run them through a few times? Thanks guys for your opinion, and keep up the good work.
So with the adventure zones, what I'm really hoping that they do is they kind of take a bit from Guild Wars 2 in the sense that they'll be more of like dynamic events.
That's exactly my thought.
Yeah, where you have to like accomplish something within a certain time or something to move on and progress in with that event that's going on. Otherwise, something else happens which gets worse for you or something like that. Also, I want them to take away from the fractals instance within Guild Wars 2 in the sense that it's randomized. So you can go in one time and start something completely different from the last time you had went in there. I want it to be different like almost all the time. Obviously, there's not an infinite amount of stuff you can do, but I want it to be different almost every time I go in there. I don't want it to be doing the same instance over and over and over again. That's boring as hell. So that's just what I hope.
Sure.
You
And
pretty much
I'm
same?
right there along with you. Yep, nothing to add.
Yeah, especially with the raid content. They don't call it raid content. Large group content within the adventure zones, which are supposed to be instanced off from the rest of the adventure zones. So that's just what I hope they do, because I can see like just this great thing where it's almost like you're within Cyrodiil in the sense that you are sieging a keep, but it's in an adventure zone and you are fighting NPCs within that keep. And that is part of the dynamic event, is you having to break in with your raid, having to actually break down walls and stuff and get in there. And that's part of the event. And then maybe you take it over, and then all of a sudden a bunch of skeletons pop out of the ground and try to kill you from within or something like that.
Yeah.
I would like to see stuff like that.
Very neat.
Something inventive. I don't want to be beating up on ankles of a big dinosaur.
Sure. So, and that would be cool, just to take us away from this whole thing where, oh, this is the boss at the end of the dungeon, we have to clear all this trash, and then he has all the cool and engaging mechanics that makes raiding fun. We could look at events and like this sieging the keep as that keep is the boss. It has its own set of waves and mechanics and obstacles that you have to overcome in a specific way in order to take that keep. I think that would really liven up and freshen up the raiding experience. For me personally, I have raided a little bit here and there throughout MMOs, and I think that would spice it up enough to where I would be engaged with it again and would love to explore something like that.
I agree. And that's it for the questions of the week from the Shodience. So let's go into our donors for this week. Starting off with Trevor Beck, new donor, thank you, sir, as well as Jose Estrada.
Thank you.
Thomas Fetterman Jr.,
Thank you very much.
also a new donor, thank you. Zeth Hillman Johnson, hello, sir, welcome back, as well as Alex Sotelo, hello. Conrad Mrose. Do you think it's Mrose, or do you think one of those consonants are silent?
Probably one of them are silent. Just because you said
Should I
it the other
choose
way,
one?
you have
Rose.
like a 50-50 chance. You probably got it wrong.
Thank you, Conrad. At least I can say that one correctly.
Yeah.
James Shaw, another new donor, says, Caravanners of Elsewhere, Khajiit has wares if you have coin. Humble Khajiit welcomes you to experience great wealth and exotic lands as you and your fellow Khajiit travel the world of Tamriel. So your wares to the people of the land and find great riches. Offer your strength in exchange for funds as you guard caravan merchants. Or for the exploratory type, seek out materials and sell them for gold to our caravan's wealthy craftsmen. Whatever you choose, Caravanners of Elsewhere will provide you with the greatest gifts of all. Coin!
Wow. See,
Apply today at caravannersofelsewhere.guildlaunch.com.
I just see this as being like an actual like in-store guild store.
That is a
in-game-
merchant guild.
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
a merchant guild. Like that would be cool.
That's how it's done, guys. New donor, David Etheridge, says, Hey, ShoddyCast, I love the stuff you do and would love a shout-out for my YouTube channel, Pierce Nation. I release 7 episodes, Rogue Legacy and Bleed at the moment, a week, and can't wait for Transistor and Hearthstone. What's Hearthstone? Not sure. I think that's another indie game, which I will be doing thoroughly.
Hearthstone is the World of Warcraft like trading card thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking for a Transistor because that's from Supergiant Games, the people who did Bastion.
Oh, and
Which I loved.
loved Bastion.
So, yeah.
Which I tried to play it, and I gotta say, I just couldn't get into it. I guess the way the combat and and stuff like played out, I did like the narrator thing going on though. That was a very cool little twist where he.
Maybe we were
narrating
the
what
wrong
we were
weapons.
doing. I was just doing it wrong, man.
Because there's
Maybe I
tons
was
of
just
different
doing it
weapons that you
wrong.
can use and stuff.
I felt like if I would have stuck it out, I would have ended up liking it more. I have a long list of game homework though to go through.
Next donation from Brad Fay. Hey, Shoddy fans, last week we learned about the emote contest. Well, I have entered my idea, /brandish, an emote that changes for every weapon combination, and I'm looking for some feedback. You can check it out here. I'm hoping ShoddyCast will include the link in the description. Anyways, keep up the good work and always end my Friday, or you always end my Fridays off perfectly. We will do something even better, and I'll actually throw annotation there over your words.
Are professional whores here. We whore out all the time, so no problem.
You're welcome. All right, next one from Timothy Ellis.
Dragonborn.
Yes, and he is. I hear the Aedra calling him to the heavens, so keep it up, and you may be answering their call.
Yes, Ascension is close for you.
And he says, "Oh God, you aired it," referring to the Shayagora thing that he sent in last week, which I will also put an annotation in for right now. So if you haven't seen that, go watch it because it's hilarious. Anyways, he says, "Thanks for the kind words, fellas. I've got ideas for more stuff, and you made a gold atronach," which was great.
Yeah, that was awesome. My only regret on that video was that we didn't have the volume up enough. It was like a little quiet, but we'll...
Mubby.
Yeah, but Kyle made an awesome looking gold atronach.
All I did was take a frost one and, change the colors on it.
Yep, the magic of Photoshop.
Martin Hirschner.
Dragonborn.
He would like to represent his Daggerfall Covenant Guild, Tamriel Trading Company. Go see more about them over at tamrieltradingcompany.com. Oh God, I'm going to say this name wrong. Is it Simon Calavi? He's Italian. I don't know.
Yes, if you say it with an accent, it makes it right.
Oh, wait, that's French. Sorry.
Insult our donors.
Yeah,
that is great.
I wanted you to mention my newborn guild, Iris Sedera. Well, I just did. There you go. You're welcome. The guild will be an Italian-speaking only guild fighting for the Aldmeri Dominion. You can find a link for it on Tessoff Forum. Thank you for your amazing show. Hey, he's been following us for a long-ass time. Your fans, Silaf? Sure, we'll go with that.
Hey, we're Italian-American. That kind of makes us brothers in some distant past.
Sure.
You know, our ancestors came over on the boat. Used to... Yeah.
Anyways, next one from Vladimir Kirilov. Dark Chapter looks for new brothers and sisters to join the fight. Honor, respect, truth, our code. Wow. And darkness is our guide. I am Vladimir, leader of Dark Chapter, saying thank you to ShoddyCast for great work. Visit their site at darkchapter.engine.com. It's for PC only on North American servers and the Daggerfall Covenant.
Hey, thank you for watching.
Yes. And the final sponsor for this week is Roth Rutledge, who says Solstice is looking for members. Go to solstice-group.net for more information. We have a cookbook that features lore-friendly recipes from all over Tamriel. Join Garoth the chef. Come for the food, stay for the fun.
That's great.
And that is it for our sponsors of the week. If you would like to be a sponsor of the SHODDIENCE, or should I say ShoddyCast, go on over to our website, ShoddyCast.com. And you will see a donation button on the right-hand side. We have met 60% of our goal so far, so thank you to everyone for that.
Yes, the Storytime series carries on. Any and all money that is donated is put directly back into the ShoddyCast, not into our pockets. And yeah, we have some crazy plans in the future. That money's been going to very good use, rest assured of it. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the ShoddyCast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like and share this video with everyone you know, and tune in tomorrow for the next installment of the Elder Scrolls lore series.
Giggity!
Learn about the Wood Elves, how they started off as peaceful, tree-dwelling people, and then turned into not-so-peaceful people, only to go right back into their traditionalist ways. I have been Josh.
And I'm Kyle.
We'll catch you later.
Bye.